Hi, Galen.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Lita.
Hi, how are you?
Well, probably like you, right? With all the
Oh my
fires.
God.
Galen, where are you?
We're in
I'm
Seattle.
Oh,
oh,
you're Seattle. Okay. And Lita, you're Pasadena area, right?
I'm just east of Pasadena. So they have warnings to evacuate in Duarte, which is like two over. And so I have my suitcase at the door ready to go.
No, I mean, that's right. We have the waters by the door. We have a lot of things by the door too. Just in case. We're Sherman Oaks, so it's probably not going to be a thing, but you never know.
You never know that they're
I know.
popping up all over the place.
I know. And the winds are really picking up. So but we're gonna talk about our businesses. Diana, hello, happy New Year.
New Year, hello. Hi,
I'm
everybody.
so happy to see
Hi.
you.
Whew, I've just made it in by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, no. I'm getting a message at the meeting. Let me see something here. I have someone who's trying to get in. Right, hold on one second. Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Olivia, why don't you kick us off? And
Yeah,
yeah, let's get started.
absolutely. Well, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. It's so good to see everyone. Welcome to First Wednesday. So, as you know, each First Wednesday call is uploaded publicly to Gretchen's YouTube channel. So, this call will not be edited. So, if you don't want your image or your voice on YouTube, please keep your mic muted and camera off. But of course, as always, we would love for you to participate. First Wednesdays are for any coach who wants to build their coaching business. In today's call, we're going to talk about how to close clients when they're freaked out about money. So I'll let Gretchen take it away.
Well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, coaches. Really glad to be here with you. And I know that this first Wednesday is really being done on the second Wednesday this month, just because of the way the calendar fell with the new year. You know, we are going to talk about what to do with clients when they're freaked out about money. But one of the first things that I wanted you to do was to think about, what do you want for 2025? What's your big business goal? And just take a minute and write it down. You know, what would be the thing for you that if you were telling me next year at the January 1st Wednesday that this particular thing happened, that you'd feel satisfied, proud, um, all those different things, you know, that it would really be a win for you. It would mean that something had happened in your business that maybe hadn't happened before. And just as you have it, unmute and let's share it. We're a small group, so let's hear what some of them are. Yeah, Lita.
So for me, it's getting paid clients.
Getting paid clients. Make it really specific. How many paid clients and how much money? If we were talking next January, you want what?
I want by next January to be making at the minimum $20,000 a month with about, I don't know, 5 to 7 clients a month.
Okay, so 20K per month. That would be like, oh man, Gretchen, this happened. Okay, that's great. Diana, what about you?
Whew, I want so many things. In order to do that, though, I would need to have, honestly, my honest thing that first came to my mind is that I want to secure Gretchen as my coach. But in order to do that, I would like to have 12 clients at least my minimum package. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have this during the course of the year. I need a roster of 12 clients and 4 paid consulting gigs
Okay.
at a minimum of 15 at a minimum of $20,000 each.
Okay. Okay. So we have a lot here with the $20,000 number. Galen, what about you?
Um, I'm actually not clear on it.
Okay. So if you think about even just one thing that you're hoping for in your business, small, it can be large, what would it be for you that would be meaningful?
Just to be actively engaged in coaching again with
Hmm.
with clients regularly.
Okay, so actively engaged, and having some regular clients.
Yeah, paid clients specifically.
Paid clients. And I like that you said that because it does make a difference when we're talking about things of what kind of clients are we looking for? What are we hoping for as we put our goals out there? And the reason that I really wanted us to start by talking about goals is because when you are working with your clients, be them paid or not paid in the month of January, a great exercise to do is to have them tell you if they were talking to you next year at this time, what would they be so happy to report to you? What would be the thing that they'd be like, wow, what a year, but not what a year like the fires are burning in LA, but like, what a year, my life was so great. And here's all the things that happened. And what you're going to see with that is that when you do that with your clients or potential clients, you're going to have a list of different goals that they have given to themselves that they want to work on. And you can help them to see what it is that they're really pointing towards. And also, you will be able to hear some of the stories they have about what might get in the way. And so, what happens for all of us is we have this idea, this goal, this dream that we want. But on the other side, we have a dialogue that's holding us back. And it really ties into the money because what happens is when we are working with clients and we are trying to help them, we're trying to help them get what it is that they say that they want. Before they begin to work with us, there is that conversation about finances. There is the conversation about payment. And so when we're thinking about that and clients get scared to pay and we're focusing on the practical ways to help clients by serving them, even when they're freaked out about money, part of this is we are to have a money conversation and to not shy away from it. And so for all of you tonight, when I take you through this, I want you to hold your big goal in mind that this is the thing that you say you really want. This is what it is. And when we really want something, oftentimes we can find the income for it, or the tuition for it, the investment money for it, if it really is true that we want it. And so it's no different with your own clients. So that's how I just want to position this today. Is all right. So you want something. How much are you willing to invest in that? So right now, think for yourself, what are you willing to invest to get this goal that you said you wanted? How much would you be willing to invest in this for yourself? And when you're ready, just throw out a number because this is going to help you with your own money stories and your money goals.
Like in the chat or just
You can just say it because there's not very many of us.
5,000.
Okay, so Galen would invest 5,000. Who else?
6,500.
All right, so Diana 6,500. We're playing the prices right now. What about you, Lita?
1/3 of what I want. So 1/3 of 20,000.
1/3 of 20,000 for the year. So, that would be like 240. And if you were going to do 1/3, 8, 16, 24, that kind of 1/3 or 1/3 of 1 month.
1/3 of 1 month.
So you do around a little less than 8K.
Oh, is it that much?
That's what I'm saying. It's really important for you to know because right now I want you all to notice your own money stories that are coming up. So just give me a number of what you think it would be. I think it's probably 6, 12, 18, 19. It's about 6,700 would be about a third of 1 month of your 20.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's about that. Now, sit with it for a minute. We've got a 5,000, we've got a 6,700, we've got a 6,500. Tell me your feeling. What's going on with your feeling about this? And just unmute and tell me the feeling that you have.
Ugh, more debt.
Yeah, okay. More debt. Who else?
On second thought, I think that's too much of an investment.
Yep. On second thought, I think it's too much of an investment. Your turn, Diana.
For me, there's some, oh gosh, there's some I don't have a word for it. If there's a lack of congruence, because I know that I would want to be paid more. And someone told me in a coaching training thing that you need to be able to pay what you would charge.
Hmm.
So while my money story is coming up is, oh, I need to make a certain amount of money in order to go higher.
Hmm.
I really wanted to say 10,000, but I would know that I couldn't do that now.
So
And
for
that's
you,
what I'm
it's about
aiming
the
for.
stretch. For you, it's
Right.
about the stretch. Then that's what I'm hearing. That right now,
Not the
comfortably,
value, right? It's not the value, it's the
not the
stretch.
value, it's the stretch. Okay. What happens when it comes to money is money requires the person who's paying to show up a certain way. So if you're going to invest all these different dollar amounts, that requires something of you. You know, if it's $100, it might require something of you. Maybe it doesn't really require something of you. It depends on what that $100 means to you on that given day with your bank account, with your circumstances, but mostly with your headspace. But these numbers were all in the thousands. And so it goes on that feeling more than that yeah feeling. And that's the part that's going to happen for all of your clients too. So I wanted you to feel it first. I just wanted you to see that all of you really want these goals that you said that you wanted. But if you needed to invest to get them, does it make you want them less? And just thumbs up if it makes you want them less, thumbs down if it doesn't. Does it make you want them less if you have to invest?
Can you say that again?
Yeah. So you told me all you had these goals, right? Of how much you wanted to be earning, how many clients you wanted, those sorts of things. And you were like, yeah, I want this. But if you knew that you had to invest in yourself with whatever it would be professional development or business development wise, does it make you want that goal less?
So thumbs up if it makes me want it more.
If you want it, if you want, what did I say before? Let's just decide because this is sort of like math for me. Thumbs up if it makes you want it the same. If you want it the same, thumbs up. If you want it less because you have to pay, thumbs down. Okay, so it's the same. For a lot of your clients, this is a good way to see where are they really at. If they have to pay to play, if they have to pay to get to that next level, does it make them even more committed? Does it make them less committed? Or are they neutral? So for me, whenever I'm getting ready to make an investment, and I work with coaches every year for various prices, I need to make sure that I feel more committed if I have to pay. If I feel neutral about it, it's probably not enough money that I'm paying. It just isn't, because if I'm neutral, it's money that I'm willing to spend. It's money that it's like, yeah, okay, even if I don't really want to pay it. And hey, none of us want to pay any of it, right? We all want to keep it and get the thing. But if it's money that I'm a little bit like, wow, about that's a lot. I don't know if I want to pay that, or like, I know it's a fair fee, but I still don't really want to pay it. I know that's going to require me to show up differently than if it's $100 item. It just is. And so if I am not more committed by the fee, then I'm probably knowing in myself, I'm not going to show up the same. I'm not personally. I don't know about you, but what I know for most of my clients is it's the same. You know, I have a lot of corporate clients and they don't pay that. Well, their companies pay, the individuals don't pay. They show up really differently than my individual clients who pay. They show up really, really differently. They're, you know, my individual clients, they're on time. They're prepared. They're not telling me they're going to be 10 minutes late. They're not showing up scattered. They want every single minute with me to count. My corporate clients, it's a little bit different. You know, some of them show up pretty prepared, but I can't tell you how many times they get a text that they're going to be 5 minutes late. They need to cut it short. They're not sure what they want coaching on today, those sorts of things. And the difference is the investment. The difference is the investment that's coming from them. So let's just sit there for a minute and tell me what you're hearing in that. What's coming through for you?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, for example, just like you mentioned, if I were a client where my company is paying, I wouldn't care because I'm not losing any money. So if I go, fine. If I don't go, fine. Nothing's coming out of my pocket. However, if the money's coming out of my pocket, I can guarantee you I'm going to get every ounce of what I paid you for out of you. Because for me, I worked so hard for my money, I'm going to get the value of it.
Yes, that's how I feel too. Anyone else want to piggyback on that or add to?
It's like an old real estate adage that actually used to offend me, but I think that, but I'm finding that it's true. Homeowners tend to be more invested in upkeep and maintenance than renters.
That was definitely true for me.
Yeah, but it was
I mean, that's definitely true. If I thought, well, the landlord will take care of it. I mean, I didn't like take bad care of the place,
right,
but
right, right. It's
I don't
true.
like
I
when I'm
mean,
in
it's
a
up to 90
hotel.
degrees when I'm renting and they're paying for the heat.
That's it.
But
AC
yeah.
is on, like it's different. Yeah. Galen, anything you want to add here?
I would just say I feel the same about any work that I do, any jobs that I do, any paid jobs that I do. Like immediately, I'm like, when I walk out of here, like there's going to be no question that this is done. That this was what was asked for is delivered.
Yeah. And so that's the other piece of it too. The pricing commits both people. Okay. It commits the person who's saying yes, and it commits the coach to doing a good job. So if you're getting paid, $25 for a coaching session, I hope that you will still show up great. But if you're getting paid $500 for a coaching session, can you feel the tension in the difference of the way that you might present yourself? We want to say that it's the same. And I know that it should be the same. But the truth is, when it comes to a higher paying fee, you are not going to be scattered on that call. You are also not going to be late. You're not going to get on there and chit chat about the fires. Like you're not going to do those things. You're ready, you're professional, and it's all about the client. When they're paying $25, maybe you're excited about that and maybe you're not. And so again, it really depends on your own money story. And I'm not saying that someone who gets paid $25 wouldn't do a good job or someone who's doing pro bono wouldn't do a good job, but there is some feeling that goes with a dollar amount that it's like, wow, they're paying me $500 for 1 hour. I better be ready to go. That's, in your mind, whatever your story is telling you about, that's a lot of money. That's as much as a doctor makes. That's like whatever that narrative is does show up. And so this is where I want you to see that when you're talking to your own potential clients about money, story and feeling merge together. Story and feelings merge together about value, about worth, about what I have or I don't have as the consumer. And then stories emerge about value and worth and what I think that coach is or isn't if I'm going to invest. But the gap between that is the possibility of what can be created if we work together. So as a consumer, I will invest the 6,700, the 10,000, the whatever it is, if I believe that that gap that I have is going to be filled. So if all of you believe, if Lita believed she was going to earn 20K a month, hand over, month after month, if Diana believed that, she was really going to be able to charge higher prices and have these clients and really just be coaching, Galen, if you believe that you would be actively engaged with paid clients and you knew it, it was like, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to have that, you would pay the money because it's big enough for you to care about. It's when we talk to our potential clients, we really have no idea of what they want. They don't have any idea of what they want. So Galen, when you said, I'm really not sure. And I said, hey, well, just let's sit there for a minute. Let's figure something out. You got something. We don't want to pitch clients or to propose an amount of money until we know what the vision means to them. What does it mean for you? So for each of you, if we were on an enrollment call, I would have gone deeper about, okay, so Lita, what will it mean to you to be making 20K a month from coaching? Like, what does that number actually mean to you? What does this kind of life mean to you? And there would be things in there probably about financial freedom, things that she could do, making it as a coach, whatever her story would be, all of us, our own individual stories, it has to be worth it. Has to be really worth it to your potential client, because what I want you to be hearing is that it's never about your worth or your value. There is no amount of money that someone can pay you that will ever be enough for the value of who you are. There's just not. There's not. You are worth infinite money, right? Infinite value. But there is a dollar amount for what the person wants. Make sense? Anyone have anything there that you want to ask or say? Okay. Yeah. Diana, go ahead.
So today I had a second call. It was, and I was at the point of the proposal. It was the second time that I was able to say, so what I'm hearing is, and I mean, at one point, I, I got her so much that she was moved to tears. But at the end of it, she said, because I'm the kind of person that likes to pause, I'd like to get back to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
There was something about that that made me feel like, don't push. I said, great. That's one thing. I said, I will tell you that my roster is filling. I wasn't lying. That
Mhm.
I am talking to 2 other people and I can only take one. I did say I was talking to 3 people and I can only take 2, but right. So I did tell her, and I did tell her that I would not push her, that I would not contact her, that I would wait. And I'm wondering if I did the right thing in saying that last thing. Because she wasn't freaked out over money, but I think that she was surprised at the amount.
Yeah. So this is so good, Diana. Thank you for bringing this to the table. I don't know if it's right or wrong. We're going to see what happens. But what I do know is you acted as a professional. It sounds like it was the second call. Had she had a coaching experience? Was that a coach? You coached her? Yeah, then it sounds like you did it right. Because here's the thing, and you learned this from being in Stairway to Six last year. We have the enrollment call where we're getting to know people. Then we offer a coaching experience and we slow it way down because we want them to see and experience what coaching really is. Then we give the price, right? Because they've had this experience. And what she did is she said, I want to pause. I need to think about it. And you said, great, you let me know. And that's you not being needy. Had it been the other way, if she would have said, let's do it, you still might have said, great, in the morning, if we're both still a yes, let me know. And what we're doing with that is we're saying that we don't want people that just want it on impulse. We want people that are ready and committed, even in the morning when they get the contract. That's the deal. So it sounds to me like you really followed the tools from last year's program.
It was hard because I would love. I'm I'm not sure that I really that it's the best fit. I had to remind her I have my coaching hat on because she tried to go into, we have a relationship because we both worked at the same college, and she was
Oh,
being very, very chatty. And when I realized that I was being very professional, not rigid or unfamiliar, but I had to say, as a, and with my coaching hat on, this is what I do, and this time right here is valuable time for you. So, we're going to get right to it.
yeah,
And
good.
then her inability to say that she really was ready and could commit gave me pause. So I'm glad that she will think about it because I want to think about it too. But I'm saying all this to say it was really hard. I learned this in the Stairway to Six, and I think it's a really good thing. But right now, I have to say I'm more in the technique of it than the real feeling, because the personal me was like, I want the money, I need this, yeah.
Here's the good thing with that, though. You notice the narrative that was going on, kind of like a sideshow. I want the money. It's like the circus act that's over here. I'm juggling. Oh, now I'm, seeing the elephants. It's just going on over here, but you didn't act on it. You still were the ringmaster and you still were doing what you needed to do to be a professional. And that's the way that we show up. I'm not saying that by doing this, you're always going to feel like, wow, a lot of times in the beginning we are nervous. We are nervous, and that's normal, and that's okay. That's just going to take some practice. So thank you for bringing that. So let's talk a little bit about this piece with the money. When you get to the part, and here's where we're going to drop in. You've done your connection call with the client. You found out what their big vision is. You've opened it up to them for questions, and they say something like, how much do you cost? Because that's really what we're all wondering. It's like, okay, that's great. And how much is this going to cost me? Especially for people who are bottom liners. They don't want to hear a bunch of frilly, how much money? That's what I want to know too. How much money? Then you can tell me what my return on investment is. So the person asks you, how much is this going to cost? What I want you to do is to remember to slow down. This is where coaches can really trip and they say things like, oh, well, it's this much money for this many sessions, but don't worry, I'll give you a 10% discount and I'll give you 3 extra sessions on top of it. And the person doesn't even know like what's happening at that point. And they don't want to work with you. They're confused. So what you do is you slow them down and you say, I'm really glad that we're here. I have a few requirements. And for you, make sure you do have some requirements. Here are mine. The first is that you're ready. And what I mean by that is that if we coach together, things are going to get different in this area, whatever that area is that you've exposed as their vision, in this area of you wanting 20K per month. And that's going to require some things of you. And only you know if this is a good time to do something like this. This is a commitment. It's not just a financial commitment. It's a commitment to self and to your own action and follow through. Now, you might be like, Gretchen, why would you say that to a person, especially if you've had this great conversation? It's because I'm weeding out the false yeses. I'm weeding out the people who are not going to do the work, who are going to be mad later that they paid. I don't want to work with them. And they're not ready for coaching. So it's both sides. My second one is that they're committed. They're committed to themselves. They're committed to show up. They're committed to pay the payment, so there's a commitment level. And then my third is that we coach, because what we were doing on this first call is really getting to know one another, for me to find out what their vision is and to see if coaching is even something that would work well for them. But I want everyone that I work with on an individual basis to experience me individually, because all of my contracts are at least 6 months. And I need to make sure that what I do is really going to work, not just for them, but for me. So that's the first thing in the slowdown that you really want to make sure when you're talking about this with people. It feels like it's just about the money, but it's your setup that is going to let them know that something is different. Then, and you're not hiding the price, but you tell them all of these things and then they still want to know the money. And you say, okay, tuition for this program. I use the word tuition because it's a lot like school. People are used to investing in school or into programs that have a tuition. You can also say your investment is, people are used to investment as a way to earn more income. We make investments into our 401ks, into our retirement programs. And if we don't, we wish we did. So investment and tuition are 2 words that are friendly to the subconscious for growth. So that's just something to know. Tuition for this program is $5,000. And then be quiet. You want to be quiet, because what happens is the other person is going to process. They can see you on Zoom. You can see them. And inevitably, whether you say $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, they're going to say, that's a lot of money. Almost always, or I have to think about it, whatever the objection is. I need a new roof. Fine. You do not argue. What you say is, it is. And I wouldn't want you to make that kind of investment unless you were sure this was going to work for you. That's why we're going to coach. We're going to coach, and that's on me. There's no fee for that. That's so that I can make sure that we're a good fit and you can make sure we're a good fit. If after that you feel like coaching is not the right time, it's not the right modality, it's no problem. And what that does is I'm backing away the entire time. Most of the time in sales, people come on stronger. Well, you need this because if you don't do it now, you won't get your life purpose. You need this because if you don't do it now, they're talking about the missed opportunity. And I know some coaching schools that teach it that way, that you're supposed to say something like, well, what will you miss out on if you wait? You can do that. I know that if someone says that to me, it just makes me feel mad. Like, you don't need to ask me that. I'm going to make a decision based on the things that I need to make a decision on. Now, for someone else, maybe that would work. So use your own intuition with the person to decide, would asking the question, what will you miss out on if you don't, make sense? I would never do that in that first call. I would wait until I've coached them and we go over pricing again, if I were ever going to use that. And you'll know based on what's happened. So they get to the next call, and this is actual coaching. And what you do is you want to set it up by saying one of 3 things is going to happen today. First is we're going to coach. And at the end, you might feel like we did it, put a bow on it, you're good to go. Second is I might send you some resources, because there could be something that I hear that could be really helpful for you, and I'll send it if I've got it. Third is that you might have some questions about what working together would look like. Let's just see at the end. Sound good? And you're getting their buy-in, because even on a coaching call, they're waiting for you to sell them. They're still nervous. They're waiting for you to sell them. So what you want to do in between enrollment, the initial connection call, and coaching call, what you want to do there is you want to make sure that you tell them, bring something real to the table. something that you would really like to move the needle on that feels important to you. I tell them that at the end of that first call, and then I email it to them as well. I do that, telling them what the parameters are. I coach, find out what their takeaway is, find out what it is that they're going to take action on, and then open the floor to them. They're still going to ask, about the pricing. They're going to have some questions. They're going to tell you what they got from it. And this is where too you get to say, my recommendation either has changed or hasn't changed since that initial call. Sometimes I get into coaching with someone that's like, oh, wow, they need much more than what I initially thought. And I might say, I thought that it would be a 6-month program, but really with everything we did right now, here's another option that I'm seeing. So you can do that too. It's completely fine. But remember, it's tuition for this program is. It's being quiet when the client says that's a lot of money and not saying things like, well, it's not that much money. You don't need to say anything like that. You're just being with them in the moment because you're just seeing how their mind processes. That's it. You're hearing what their own narratives are. You're seeing their own sideshow, kind of like we have ours. If I want that money, like Diana was saying, but you don't have to get involved with that. So let me pause here. What are you guys getting from this? What's helpful?
That was a lot to digest.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot and it's fast.
The I see what you're saying about the pause, and yeah, it's a lot of money. I think too that it depends on the type of client. And I believe the clients that you have are probably the same type of clients that I want, the type A professionals, they're very direct, on the go-getters, versus the flowery people, which that's not the type of person because I'm not like that, but I can't see the flowery people, they want you to hold their hand and smooth smooze them and all that. So I think there's a lot of variables there, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's nuance. That's the piece. It's the nuance, because even with a direct person who's fast, part of our job as coaches is to slow down a direct, fast person. And they want to make a decision right now on this call. It's a yes or it's a no, but they're missing it. And that's not what coaching's about, And so that's why for me, what I like to do is I say, we need to, either way, whether we work together or we don't, we need to coach because we both need to make sure that this is 100% yes. Usually a direct person actually really appreciates that. So there's different ways that you will gain as you're practicing these techniques that feel nuanced to you and to the person that you're working with.
This my area of like expertise and genius I'm good at, but being a business owner, not so much. And I tend to have high levels of unmanageability periodically in my life anyway. And so often what I do is I'll compartmentalize or be very, very sequential. But I'm also a creative person. And so I've heard this before, but what I'm hearing and digesting for the first time is the creative merge between the business and the service. My area of my being a business owner and my areas of expertise or genius, those two things aren't separate and they are mutually supportive. Ooh, light bulb. And so slowing it way down, getting that commitment, that is kind of into and supports my value for the service part of it.
Good.
And if I want to make a sale and support the business, I have to be a good server. And those things are together. Like in some ways, I think I've been separating them more than they need to be. But what I'm hearing is closing is showing your area of expertise and genius, and that service and that supports the ability to make a good sale, because every sale is not a good sale. Every client is not a good client.
You've got that right. You've got that right. And that's a ding, ding, ding moment. So in the beginning of my coaching career, I didn't do it in the way that I'm telling you. I wanted to coach, I wanted to connect, coach, and close all in 30 minutes. And sometimes I could, but a lot of times those people didn't end up signing the contract. They'd say yes, and we talk price, and I'd send the contract and do all of that, but they weren't real clients because it was too fast. It was too many things I was trying to do. And so what I have learned is that this slowed down approach not only serves them, but it serves me because to your point, Diana, some of the people that did say yes, they were not a good coaching client for me. I probably wasn't a great coach for them. I was irritable. Whatever, that it wasn't good synergistically. But could I get them to say yes? Sure. The other thing I noticed too is that my price point at that point was much lower. Some of it had to do with my own expertise and just what I was comfortable with charging, but a lot of it had to do with I was trying to do it too fast. If you think about high value items, they take longer. So someone buying a house, they need to see it more than one time. They want to really experience that realtor. They have a lot of questions. There's a process that happens because it's a big ticketed item. Timeshares, it's a very slowed down process. You're there for like 3 hours. They give you a vacation at the resort. Like there's a lot that goes into it. And so coaching's not different, especially the higher you want your prices to go. And so remember that the slowed down approach usually equals a higher fee for you, almost always. And what that will do is create more commitment for your client and more commitment for you to show up really professionally. So these are all the things that when people are talking about money and they're talking about their feelings of it, they're talking about how, there's things that are in conflict with the money that you're not telling them what they should or shouldn't do. You're being very honest about who you are, what the fee is, how you work. You only take people that are ready and committed, and that you're going to coach them first. So there's no bait and switch with this. Sometimes when things are too fast and they sign the contract and then you start coaching and they're like, I didn't know that this is what it was. There's some disconnect there. And so we want to be sure that this is something too that your potential clients know with 100% certainty is right for them right now. Okay. Here's something else. When you are working with potential clients and they're talking to you about their money fear or their money story, you can always ask the question, okay, so if money weren't an issue, would this be a yes? You'd be surprised because most of the time we think that almost everyone's going to say like, yes, of course. It's not. I can tell you more than once where I've gone back and forth with people that I thought it's really time. What are they holding out on? Maybe I took a little bit of money off just to see, just to play with it. They still didn't say yes. And so ask that question, after you've coached them and they're thinking about it or whatever, that if money weren't an issue, would you do it? You're going to learn a lot. And I always let them know any answer is okay, but this is for you, them, the client. This is for you to see where you are on your commitment level of what you told me you wanted. So you told me you wanted to earn $20,000 a month. I told you the program's 10,000. You're hedging. If money weren't an issue, is this something you would do? So it helps them to get really clear too about their own timing and their own commitment to the thing they say that they want. Okay, I have more that I can say, but I would rather open this up for some questions for a moment before I take you through one more exercise that can help your client to close the loop. Anyone have a question here or a comment? Lita, I saw you on mute.
So I think for me, with my potential clients, it's not a money issue because I'm going to be dealing with attorneys, so they make money. I think I have two issues. One is they're workaholics, so they never have time to slow down and, even if it's an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is that you will accommodate them for, that's number one. And number two, I think it's an ego thing of coaching. That's like going to a therapist. I don't need one of those. I'm a professional. I'm great at what I do. If somebody finds out, even though I know everything we do is confidential, but it's that mindset of that makes me like less than what I really am. And I don't know how to change that mindset. I know we're talking a lot more about mental health. I know we're talking a lot more about it's okay to ask for help, but
Jump in there because here's what, for me, and it sounds like for you, I already work with successful A-type personalities who want to up level. That's who I work with. That's why they would work with me. They're already really high in what they do. They're experts in their field, but they've reached kind of that ceiling. They know there's more to do. They're just not sure how to get there. And so I help them to bridge that gap so they can take their success and expand it. When you say that to an A-type professional who's already successful, it doesn't sound like therapy. It doesn't sound remedial. It sounds like, oh, wow. And when you think about Michael Phelps, I'm just using him because I know he's an Olympian and all of that. He always was working with a coach. He didn't get there by himself, and it's so what can the coach see to hold up a mirror for you to see your own blind spots? That, yeah, good for you. You've gotten yourself this far, but people who want more, they work with coaches because coaches are willing to not be your friend and to ask you questions that other people won't ask you. That's the truth with good coaches. Because we're not friends with our clients, we care about them, but I'm not there to be their friend. I will ask a question that someone else wouldn't ask them because they're intimidated, they feel it's disrespectful, whatever it might be. I had a client today, she's very A-type personality, very, very ambitious, and she was stuck in this story. And I just paused her and said, I'm going to pause. Let's just put the story to the side for a moment. I'm hearing a lot of what you're wanting everyone else to do. What's wanted from you? Not from them, what's wanted from you. So it had to take her out of the everybody else. And she was like, wow, that's a good question. Because it was a checkmate question. So friends don't typically do that, but coaches do. And so when you think of it that way with this sort of client, there's more value in it.
okay, that's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing you can say too is that, with coaching is not here to people please you. And you've probably, for the A-types, they've created a life where people please them. Where people want this person to be happy, where people see them on a pedestal. The ambitious ones, they are like that. And it's like, and with your coach isn't going to do any of that. Your coach pulls your covers in a very respectful way.
Okay.
They usually
Thank
like to. Yeah. Okay, I want to show you one more exercise. So this is called closing the loop. And this is a little bit of what you were doing, Diana. So an open loop is any kind of a commitment that someone isn't following through on. They're caught in an open loop. They want this, but then they're not taking action on it. They keep saying that they're going to do this thing, but they don't do it. So opening loops are a promise from that person that they're going to do it, but then they're out of integrity with their own follow through. And so I talk a lot to my potential clients and to my clients about lack of integrity of self, that you would be in integrity with somebody else. Someone else asked you to come and help them and you said you'd be there, you'd be the first to be there. But with yourself, you're saying that you want X, but what are you really doing? What are you really doing? And so something that you can do to help your client with their open loops is to have them rate their level of excitement. And at the beginning, and I asked all of you, how excited are you about this goal that you have? Have them really rate it. If it's anything less than an 8 in excitement level, you just want them to close that loop right away. Take it off your plate. You're not doing it. That's not something that you're doing. You haven't done it. You're not really into it. But if it's something that's an 8 or more, what you want them to do is to take a small step towards it and to be honest about the type of action that's really needed to get there. Sometimes people think that they should be doing something, and so they keep it on their list every year, but it's really not that they want to do it. Maybe they're still trying to please their mother subconsciously, or to be successful in their mind, they have a story that they should fill in the blank. So when we help our clients close the loop, what we do is we take it off the table. So if a potential client is thinking about it for a long time or going back and forth with you, what you finally get to say is, Diana, it's been so nice getting to know you. I really enjoyed coaching you, and I saw this, this, and this, whatever it is that you saw in them. At this time, let's close the loop on coaching. Let's take it off the table. When you are ready, you're going to know because your excitement and readiness level will be 1% more than your fear. When that happens for you, get in touch with me. I'm really rooting for your success. Now, most of the time, what happens is that creates a little heartbeat in the person. And either they're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to think about this anymore. Or they're like, wait, no, don't take that away. I still want to do this. But almost always you get some kind of a response. And what it does is because you're a professional, it closes the loop for you about, oh, just following up. You're not just following up, you just want to see if they're going to pay you money. It closes that loop and it closes the loop for them of needing to avoid you, right? And so either way, you're letting them have more mental space. And I typically will say that too, is like, let's just close the loop on this. You can get your mental space back. Clearly, it doesn't seem like it's the right time. When you're ready, you're going to know because your excitement will be 1% more than your fear or your resistance, however you want to put it. And you will be surprised how that really helps people. Something else that you can do too with them is an energy audit, that if they're saying that they really want $20,000 a month, you find out how are they spending their time? How are they really spending their time? And if they're telling you things that clearly have nothing to do with that goal, you get to see, so what's out of alignment and help them to get back into integrity. And what does this have to do with money? It's one more thing that when people say things like, that's a lot of money, I don't have the money, not right now, I have to talk to my spouse, that what you're doing is you're helping them get into integrity about what is really true for them. And most of the time, when a client doesn't work with you, it's usually, not always, but usually not about money, it's about value. It's about the thing that you are offering has not met up enough with their vision to bridge the gap from what they're saying they want to what you can do for them. And that's where it's not personal. It's like, if this doesn't fit into, if it's a square that they have and you're a circle, why would they pay you $5,000? It doesn't make any sense. So that's where spending enough time on their vision will always help you to get closer to a true yes. All right, I did a lot of like monologue talking here. You guys talk a little bit. Tell me what you're thinking.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
This getting them doing this energy audit, asking them about their level of excitement, finding out what their, I mean, making sure at this point you already know what their underlying issues are, what their true goals are. Is it in that closing conversation that as you're taking it, closing the loop, that you are getting them to articulate? You said something about getting them to take one step closer to their goal. Is that where you do that in that conversation? You actually have included them?
Sometimes it depends. A lot of times I will have already done kind of an an energy audit
Okay.
exercise with them during that coaching session. That it's like they're telling me they want this. I kind of find out, well, how are you spending your time? Where are you out of integrity? What would get you closer? What's the step that you can take? So I will have already done that. I always want to bring it back to that vision that they told me that they wanted. That way we're really working on the thing that they said would be worth this investment if we were going to move forward. If it's someone like your person who she's going to think about it because she likes to pause, that just doesn't get back to me. If I want to work with them, I know that you're kind of deciding. If I want to work with them, then I will send an email closing the loop if enough time has gone by, just so that we both can open up our calendar for something else. So
Gotcha.
it's usually separate.
I think that it's really important, the part about it lets them relax and not worry about running into you.
That's right.
I think
That
that's really important because that person could turn into like a referral partner of sorts. They may not have been right, but somebody will come across their path and they'll be able to say, I know somebody who. But if you
that's
left
it.
them with tension and with angst, they may not be as comfortable to do that.
Well, and if you left it awkward in any way or needy or like they owe you something.
Right.
And that's why I never want to make it, nobody owes me anything. I don't owe them anything either. And so I want to make sure that if we're at a professional thing together or I see them in some circle that I belong to, no one has to avoid each other. It doesn't feel weird. And I don't bring it up with them either. And I say, hey, how did it go with blah, blah, blah? Because that's not appropriate. That happened in our coaching session, not in this social situation. So I like what you're saying there. Anyone else have anything you want to ask or offer? Okay, well, I have my, oh, go ahead, Diana, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I did this since I did Stairway to Six, I took this short seminar, and the person who's, a master coach or calls himself a master coach has this 7-minute closing, which really bumped up against and like did a lot of role plays with people. And then somehow or another in each role play, the person who was the coach, he was like, yes, I'll buy your, I'll buy your, program. And I never volunteered to be a coach or a coachee because it just didn't feel, that feels like a lot to do a 7-minute closing. I think what I would like to ask you and everybody else here is it is it possible, you did say at one point tonight, you could close in 30 minutes.
Good.
You could, but what do you think about that? And I mean, like, is it me? I mean, it was honestly, it was a turnoff when I realized that she was teaching a 7-minute closing. I wish I would not have invested the time and money. And it wasn't
So
that much money. It was, but
right.
still.
But there you go. When I think for myself, and for the only way to answer this is to think for yourself of the style that you like. Let's say that I'm going to invest in a $30,000 a year coaching program. That's what a lot of them cost. If someone is trying to close me in 7 minutes, I feel like a number. I don't feel like you got to know me, and I don't really feel like you care. Now, I don't know what it is that this person was sharing for the 7 minutes. What I say with everything that you learn is take the nuggets, take the one nugget that did sound good from that, put it in with everything else that you've learned and make it your own. We're all teaching what every single coach does when we put on these workshops and we do seminars and whatever else. We're teaching you what worked for us and what we've taught other people, and it's worked for them as well. But can I say with 100% certainty that there's a right way or a wrong way? No, I can't. But I can say that this has worked for me. And I know it's worked for you too, Diana, because you were in the program and it's worked for others. Maybe there's something that could work in that 7-minute close. I'm not sure. It's not something that I've tried to do. I don't like pressure sales. If someone wants me to decide something right now, like I'm already not going to work with them. I want to get off the call. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And I don't want you to follow up with me. I'm already a no. Yeah.
I'm the same way with that. I feel like it's because you see it so much, especially with all these, get this free 1 hour workshop, and then it's that hard drive, and it's like, no, goodbye, thank you.
That's how I feel. And the thing is, if you're going to give me a discount, then you can give me the discount later. Like it's just a bunch of BS. It's all made up anyway. So if there's pressure with it, or the value's suddenly going to be gone, why? That for me doesn't feel integrous to from the other person, but that's just how I am. It might work for a different audience that isn't my personality. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, take whatever the gems are. There's always something that you can learn, even in the thing that rubs you wrong, either of what you're going to do or what you're not going to do.
Yeah, this is I'm glad to hear you both, say that, because it was a pressure sale. Because it wasn't a high investment, it was kind of okay. But it didn't occur to me in the moment, because people that play 3-card Molly and shell games are usually better at their scamming than an honest person is about being a normal person. And they were good. So they added this value and then added another value, but it didn't occur to me to think, as you just did, Gretchen, if you can give me a discount now, you can give me a discount later. It's your company, it's your thing. Like,
Yeah.
why does it have to go away? And I didn't, and if I had thought about that, and usually a pressure sale is a no for me, but I have to say, once I started getting into it and learning about this whole 7-minute thing, I realized that it doesn't matter whether or not people are successful. They just wanted to get in and make enough sales. And I feel like I did when I was 20 years old and I fell for a shell game in the
Mhm.
park.
I've fallen for shell games in the park too.
Yeah.
I have too. So this weekend, for anyone who would like to join, I am doing a 3-hour workshop. You know, we're going to cover money, we're going to cover the art enrollment, we're going to cover some storytelling. It's a primer to my Stairway to Six program. It's something that I really appreciate people to come to who think that they might want to go through Stairway to Six. And it's something for people who have already been to Stairway to Six that I say, come to for a refresher. So if you are free on Saturday from 9 to 12 Pacific time, I hope that you will come. Olivia's going to drop the link and it would be great to see you there. It's either way, it's a good way for you to be able to reset and to get your mind on client creation for the new year. You know, and again, it is a promo for my Stairway to Six, but even if you don't do Stairway to Six, you're going to walk away with plenty of value in the different things that you learn there. So that's just something that's on offer. One other thing to think about too, with any kind of sale, whether you're being sold or you're doing the selling, is what's when you're the one that's being sold to, how do you feel about the way the person is selling to you? Are they serving you while they're selling, or are they just selling? And we all know the difference. You know, when someone really is there for us and you can tell that they care deeply about whatever that goal is, I feel served. I want to work with them. But when it's one of those that they're doing it, you kind of know that you're part of their quota or whatever it is, it feels different to me. The other thing to really think about too is, how do you like to be sold? I love high-end sales. When someone sells to me, and I can even tell that they're using sales techniques, but it's so good, I don't even care that I'm being sold. I'm like, that is some, and I always call them out too, like, that's some good selling. I really like the way you did that. You know, because a good sale, you feel taken care of. It's like, wow. You know, it sort of reminds me of like a great shopping experience when the salesperson's bringing you different sizes and you don't have to leave the fitting room and they bring you an accessory and then they bring you some shoes. And by the end, you've spent way more because you just went in for, you know, an undergarment, but now you have a dress and heels and all the things. But they sold you good and you don't even care because now you have a great outfit. That's the kind of sales that you want to do because it's going to help you, because in the end, it really serves. So that's what I have for you tonight, everybody. I'd love to hear some quick takeaways of what you are walking away with. What'd you get?
I like the your investment or your tuition for this program is, I wrote that down. I'm gonna remember that and use that. I'm stealing your line.
No, you should. And anything that I teach you, use it. Please use it. I know that you're not coming on Zoom on Saturday, but you're going to get a lot of these kinds of lines that you can use. It'll help you. I hope that you do use it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else? What'd you get? What's your takeaway?
Just to give them time to process after you've said, you know, the tuition is this much, give them a chance to go through their mental processes.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I like the support of the sales technique and the service. And I like your, you know, your metaphor or analogy of high-end sales, because I too can critique the sales critique, but if it's done well, I'll buy it and I don't feel foolish about buying it. Like, I know that you sold me, but I do like this dress and I do like these heels, and I did like the way you did that.
Yeah, and you're right. It does go great with my eyes.
Anyway, exactly.
You're right. And so that's it. And that's what we're really doing, because it is of service and you don't feel like you've been tricked. And in coaching, we don't want to trick people. We don't want to talk anyone into coaching. They're ready or they're not. And it has nothing to do with you if you're valuable enough. It has to do with that vision that they have, and can you help them to get there? Is their vision important enough to them? If it is, they're probably willing to invest. If it's not, maybe there's a deeper vision or a better time for them to do coaching. Okay, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope to see some of you I hope to see all of you on Saturday. And if you have any questions, let me know. Stairway to Six larger program is coming up. It starts on February 1st. Diana was in it last year. If you have questions, I'm sure you can reach out to her and ask her what her experience was like. I put you on the spot there, Diana. You good with that? Yeah. And you know, if you have questions about it that you want to ask me, you can email me and I'm happy to answer them. But again, Happy New Year. And that 2025 goal that you said you wanted, hope that you get it. Hope that this is your year.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you,
New Year,
everyone. Happy New Year.
every year.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.